Welcome back, guys. In today's deep dive, we're going to look at 7 wonders, and we're going to look at, in particular, the resources mechanism within this game. So in my deep dive series, I look at specific things within games and tell you why they're outstanding. And for me, in 7 wonders, this resource system is exceptional because you are trading with the people to your right and your left. You aren't trading with everybody at the table, but with your direct neighbours at the table. The importance of the resources in this game cannot be understated. You manage to collect them in the first age of the game and the second age of the game. You won't be collecting any resources in the third age, the third act of the game. So your pressure is on to really collect them early on. Otherwise, you're going to be paying a lot of money in the latter part of the game to get the resources you need to make buildings. And in this game, you are building a massive city. In an effort to also construct your wonder, you need to gather these resources so that you can build these structures and build up your monument. And the resources come in the form of the brown cards. And there are quite a few. There is the stone, there is the ore, the iron ore, there is the wood, bricks, and then there is additional resources you can collect, which is the glass and the paper and the silk as well. So these resources are critical because you need combinations of these in order to build these structures within your city. So early on in the game, you need to have focus on collecting these cards, these different structures that generate you resources. Maybe it's a clay pit, maybe it's a logging camp where you can get some wood. And then you are able to additionally buy resources from your neighbors. Whatever resources they get in this early part of the game, you can also pay them money to gain those resources. This is where it's exceptional because you're actually really invested, really interested in what your neighbors are picking and what your neighbors generate in addition to what you generate too. Because there are really wacky combinations you need for some of the later buildings in the game, and especially for the wonders, the different stages of building your wonders, you need to have combinations of different materials. And if you can't collect them or can't provide them, it's going to cost you a lot of gold. And money in this game is finite. You don't get loads of it. So ideally, you want to either generate the materials or be in a position to buy them from those who are sat next to you. It's such a cool interaction. You're not actually taking their resources from them. If they have a location that makes bricks, it makes bricks for them. And also, the people next door can also buy that brick. So you don't take those resources from them, but you gain extra resources by paying them money to use it. And that is brilliant because it's a way to interact with the other players at the table, but it's not a negative interaction. I'm not stealing his resources. He's not stealing my resources. I'm simply paying him to use the resources he has at his disposal. It's really brilliant. I like it a lot because it's like trading, but there's no negatives in this game. You're not, challenging each other for stealing resources that you need. No, you're simply able to trade for what they already have. And it's great. It's great. It encourages you to pay for things you need, pay your neighbors and give them money. But obviously you're giving them money, which is a vital resource. So you want to try and avoid that if you can. Ideally, you want to generate them yourself. But in the event that you can't, you obviously can do that. And the game starts as well with every single different player board. That player will have access to one unique resource. And this resource is available right from the start of the game. So you can start trading with your neighbors the second the game starts. That is a brilliant design. But the importance of also acknowledging what your neighbors have as well as what you can make cannot be understated. Because you don't need to generate loads of wood if your neighbor is already making that. And you also need stone. Maybe stone should be your priority. You need to get that because you have no access to it. You can always buy it from your neighbors. So the importance of what they have at either side of you is just as great. It means you're keeping an eye on what they've got as well as what you've got available. And that's really, really good. It's really cool. In some ways, in some particular resources, definitely it's going to be harder for you to get them. The glass and the paper and the silk, the 3 rarer resources, a bit more tricky to get. And you never know, somebody on the opposite side of the table might have taken all of the wood, and you might be struggling to get any wood resource. But luckily the neighbour to your left is your lifeline to stay in the game, because you can just pay him a cheap price and get some stone or brick, whatever resource they're generating. It's a brilliant mechanism within the game, and I appreciate it a lot. I like it a lot. This game is standout because of this resource mechanism. You're not physically trading. I'm not physically giving them the materials they need to construct the buildings they want. It's just a passive thing on the side, but it works so well. And that's really it. That's all I wanted to talk about today for Seven Wonders. It's an exceptional design, and one that I haven't seen taken on by many other board games. I haven't seen it in anything else. Obviously, loads of games have materials and resources that you gather, you collect, you trade. Maybe you actually physically trade them with your neighbours. But in this instance, you don't physically trade them. You just own them, and your neighbours can also buy it from you, which is something I've not seen any other game replicate. And this is something, a system that other games should consider incorporating into their design. And I thought it deserved shouting out. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, become a member. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know, do you agree with me? Do you like this system within Seven Wonders and all of their subsequent games? Do you think it's great? It's obviously also prevalent in the Seven Wonders Duel. It's exactly the same game, just condensed for a 2-player version. So let us know down below, do you agree with me? And I'll see you all next time.